Now then people, it's Joe, Leeds TV, and it is your match preview in prep for Saturday's evening game against West Bromwich Albion. Big game, very big game. I've been looking forward to this game for a long time. I think early on in the season, for me, they were the standout in terms of when they were knocking 7 past QPR, for example. I thought they'd be a real test. Obviously, recent performances by them, noise you hear coming from their own fans, it's not going well at the moment, so maybe not as big as I once envisaged earlier on in the season, but still a big game nonetheless. You know, we come off the back of a great win away at Wigan. They were unbeaten. You know, people, you know, I watch a lot of fan channel stuff and a lot of people talking down Wigan and stuff, but at the end of the day, I think the last time they were beaten at home was Blackpool back in League One, 2017, maybe even late 16. So they're no mugs. So it's a great performance, especially coming from behind as well. So that's renewed confidence for us as fans, and for the players definitely, because, you know, we haven't come from behind for a very long time. I think I've just been listening to Joe Urquhart and Phil Ayres' podcast, and even at home, I think it stretches back to 2016. I think, you know, which is quite big. So mentally, that does a lot for the players. The performance, although the scoreline might not suggest yet, I thought the performance, we controlled the game back to not quite at its best, but back up to them better levels where we're controlling games. We could have had more. And it wouldn't have flattered us if we did. So, you know, renewed confidence on the back of that game. And look, we look at West Brom. They've won 1 of the last 6. I mean, the last 4 out of a possible 12 points, they've got 1 and only scored 2 goals. A lot of that's down to the fact, you know, they've had key players out. Dwight Gale's a big miss for them. As we all know, as he's done at Newcastle, Palace and stuff in the past, he's a top championship striker. He's one of them players who can't quite do it in the Prem. A bit like, let's say, Jordan Rhodes back in his day, David Nugent. Them style players who can get hatfuls all day long in the championship, but when they make that step up, they're not quite at that level. And Dwight Gale's that guy. He's got so much pace, and he's such a good finisher. Small, slight turns, so he's going to be a big plus for them coming back, and one of their dangers. So maybe that's why they've lacked goals as much. Maybe Jay Rodriguez has cut a frustrating figure up top for them. But, you know, 1 point from the last 12, and some of the teams they've played in that time, you know, they got beat by Wigan, they got beat by Hull. You know, some of the teams they've actually played as well ain't that great. You know, and there's so much to be said about them being, you know, they're the highest scorers in the league. They're the only team in the league that scored more goals than us. You have to take into the fact, though, they did put 7 past QPR, so that's, you know, obviously a big, massive plus for them. I think they've scored like 33, 34 goals, but 7 of them did come against a very poor QPR side at the time. Obviously, this is the championship, things change, and QPR ain't that far off the top 6 now. So, you know, yes, they've scored a lot, but the big thing for me is how much they concede. You know, they've conceded 24 goals, which is a lot. I mean, we don't concede a lot, but 24 goals is a lot. And I think there's 4 or 5 teams that have conceded more than them, and they're all in the bottom half. They're all doing not that great, you know, Readings, teams like this that have conceded more goals than them. So it shows you've done it, you know. Yeah, they might score hatfuls, but at the back they're shocking. And if you're shocking at the back, for me, the best team in the championship, you know, some might say Derby, some might say Norwich, but I just look at what we did to them, and you know, a lot of other fans will disagree, but I think attacking wise, we're the best team in the championship. So if you're going to leak goals, and you're going to struggle at the back, like Bartley and Hagazi and all these people have, then you're going to concede against this Leeds side. And they're not going to shut up shop at home, definitely not, like other teams have. They're going to have a go. And look what Derby did to them when they had a go, and look what we did to Derby when they had a go. So for me, there could be a lot in this game. But going back to the key players, I mean, Gareth Barry, for example, is a massive plus for me. I go back to that Swansea game and Leroy Fer, the job he did on us when he came on. I think he was just back from injury and he came on, or he'd started the game. He didn't see it out, but he was class in that game, I thought. And I think Gareth Barry could have a similar sort of effect if he's on his game, because he is a top top player and has been for a long time, especially in the Championship. Obviously they have Kieran Gibbs back in as well, which is again is a massive plus. He's a top left back. You don't play at Arsenal for all them years and not be a good player, so Gibbs is a big plus for them. But the massive one is Dwight Gale. You know, Dwight Gale's up there, and obviously that means they'll probably go 2 up top, which means we'll revert to the famous 3-3-1-3, which I think when we've done that, we've looked really strong. So yeah, I mean, for me, I think it's going to go 2 ways. I don't see us getting beat. You know, I'm calling it out now. I just don't see us getting beat. It's like it's going to go one of 2 ways. We're going to have a Swansea performance. It's going to be, they're going to score, we're going to score, and it's going to be a high-scoring draw. Or we're going to have a derby-esque performance, and we're going to go out and win 3 or 4-1. That's what I'm calling now. You know, I see this being an easier game than the Wigans, these type of teams. For me personally, you might think I'm wrong, but I just think any team that wants to come and try beat us at playing football are going to get found out. And I've said that from since that Derby game, since that Stoke game, Norwich, these sort of teams, when they've come and tried to have a go, we've beaten them. The only one we've struggled against is obviously Brentford, but we all know, you know, why that was. We were fucking robbed, let's be honest. And the referee had an absolute shocker. So yeah, I mean, big thing for me, Kemar Roofe is going up against the side that pied him. He used to play for them. Obviously, Roberts used to play for them as well. I've seen a lot of stuff on the fan forums. I know Conor's done a bit of a preview with West Brom Fan TV, and even they seem to think that this Roofe's going to come back. You know, Roofe's going to come back to bite them, and I see that as well. And I see him getting a brace. I think it's going to be 3-1, Click and a Roofe brace. I think in the performances where Click scored goals when teams have tried to come out and play against us, he's had so many opportunities to run beyond Roofe, and I see him doing that again. He's going to have so much space in there, and he's going to be able to run beyond the defenders, and I see him getting himself a goal, much like he's done, you know, previous. I think what's he, 5 goals, 5 assists. Or is that Pablo? Correct me if I'm wrong. But he's been an absolute colossus as Click for me. Best player, maybe him or Phillips, but he's been unreal, and I see him scoring. But yeah, I think the team line-up, as I say, the 3-3-1-3, we're going to see Pontus, Calvin Phillips in the middle and Cooper on the left side of the 3. You're going to have Douglas on left wing back, who was absolutely amazing against Wigan, and I think we'll see more from him. I go back to that Chef Wednesday performance. I thought he was class that day. The only thing he missed was a goal, and I think he's going to have a similar style performance as that game today. Only this time he might get on the score sheet or assist. Because I do see that we're going to get a lot of opportunities going forward. Dallas at right wing back, you know, I've said before he's not a full back, but after the Wigan game he had a top game. As I said, he had the most touches, most tackles, highest pass percentage, so he had a really good game. So you know, I'm not too worried about that position. The only thing that worries me, obviously, you've got Dwight Gale and Harvey Barnes as well. Sorry, I neglect to mention Harvey Barnes. Harvey Barnes he's been a revelation. You know, I was gutted when I found out on the Inside Ellen Road podcast that we actually were close to signing Harvey Barnes. It was almost a done deal, and then he went to West Brom. I'd have loved him at Leeds because he's been unreal for them. So that does worry me, because obviously going forward Wigan didn't offer much, and we all know about the famous 7-1 players when they did have the odd break. You know, we've seen David Attenborough commentary over it and all sorts. Sorry guys, battery. So you know, yeah. So they didn't offer much. This West Brom side is gonna be able to attack. That's one thing they will do. It just depends whether or not they see enough of the ball, because I see us controlling the game. But when they do attack, it's going to be a lot more than what we've seen, you know, other sides, and that's the one thing that we will see about Dallas, if he can cope with the likes of Gale and Harvey Barnes and these type of players going at him. In the middle of that is obviously Click, or Forshaw, sorry, and then you're gonna have wide Pablo and Alioski, Forshaw in the middle, or Click interchangeable, and then ROOFE obviously leading the line. And like I said, I see ROOFE getting a brace against his old side, and he'll be so up for the game because he'll want to show them. You know, he had a couple of loan spells when he was at West Brom, culminating in a loan move to Oxford, and then obviously that was made permanent. Quite a drop down from, you know, Premiership at the time, West Brom, down to League Two, but he's made his way back up. A lot's been made obviously about Kemar Roofe at the moment as well, with his deal and stuff, and listening to the Inside Ellen Road podcast. Don't think that's going to be sorted out anytime soon. I think Phil Hay mentioned that the club are waiting on it, because what they don't want to do is, like we did last season, signing Union O'Kane and these type of players on long-term deals, and then the season went tits up and now we've got them stuck on the books. But I think the deal will get done. He has still got 18 months. I'd like to see it done before January, because obviously if it's still up in the air come January, you're going to have clubs sniffing around, so we need to get that deal done. But yeah, I mean, that's all my notes covered really. So I'm just going to go like a little bit off the cuff as per. But yeah, I think a lot's to be said for their attacking prowess, but they're so poor at the back. And for me, like I said earlier, we're the best team in the league, especially attacking wise, the way we retain possession, keep the ball and have opportunities. And the one thing I'll say is, when we play against teams that want to have a go, we have so much more space, and when we have that much space we can create so much more. Pablo's going to be instrumental in the game. You know, Douglas again is going to be so instrumental down that left hand side. ROOFE for me is guaranteed to score. So if you want a first goal scorer, or you're interested in that, you've got to put ROOFE on for me, because against his old side and the form that he's in, he's going to score. I think obviously the defensive free doesn't worry me. I think when they've played in a free, they've been absolutely immense, and that doesn't worry me one iota. I think KP's been unreal. It'll be interesting to see how Barry gets on in the middle of the park, because like I say, he is, you know, he's slow and that, and he's old now, but he's still a top level midfielder, especially in the Championship. So them three key players, having them back's a big deal for them. But listen, you go on any fans forum, you watch any videos, West Brom, they ain't looking forward to this. And the Leeds of old, so this is where I was thinking about this last night, and I think this is where my thought process has changed. The Leeds of old, I look at this and think, right, okay, they've got 1 point out of a possible 12 out, you know, the last 4 games. We'll get beat by them. That's the Leeds of old, yeah? This is my thought process. Not anymore, you know, I see us turning the screw. I see Leeds going there and winning 3, maybe 4-1. You know, you might say, it sounds crazy, and fans of opposing teams might disagree, but I think the Leeds fans will be with me on this. I think if the game's open and they want to come and try play, we will score a hatful. I don't see us getting beat. Famous last words. I remember when I did the Bielsa documentary and I said I can't see us getting beat at home. Next game we lose to Birmingham. You know, so maybe I'm the poison chalice if we do go and get beat, but I just can't see it. Like I said to you earlier, it's going to go one of 2 ways. You're going to either have a Swansea performance where we get a hard fought draw, or we go wild, and hopefully it is the latter, and we go wild and we put a marker out, because listen, we can start to now, I mean, we're standalone at the top now. There's not 3 or 4 teams all on the same points goal difference. We're standalone. We're going into the international break. Let's start to build up a little bit of a gap now. Let's get this win done. We come back, then we've got Bristol City at home, Sheffield United away. You know, big games. Sheffield United is going to be a massive game. So let's start to turn the screw on the league a bit, because, you know, a lot's been made of this being an open championship, and, you know, it's anybody's for the taking. But I look back at certain games where we should have got more out of, i.e. Sheff Wednesday, we deserve to win. Forest, we deserve to win. We could be out of sight a little bit. We could be similar to Wolves. I know Oscar's just done a video comparing us to previous championship winners or promoted teams at this time. If you haven't watched it, go give it a watch. And I just think when I was listening to that video, I say, yeah, we're not on as much points as Wolves, but I think, look at the games where we should have won, yeah, that are dropped points. And not just because we've missed a penalty in the last minute or we've missed an open goal. We've absolutely dominated the game. Nottingham Forest, we dominated them, yeah? Chef Wednesday, how we didn't win that is beyond me. We absolutely dominated them. So straight away, them points get turned into, you know, 6 points. And there's an even bigger gap than what we've already got. You guys will think even, you know, there'll be even more results where you think, actually, yeah, we could have done more. So, you know, yes, it's open. Yes, but for me, we're the standout team. We're the team to beat, and West Brom will be on the game. Cal Bartley will want to have a good game. I just don't think he's going to be able to cope, and their backline at the minute is shocking. You know, Hagazi and Bartley aren't the fastest, and I know, like I say, on the West Brom fan forums and stuff, I know they say, I mean, even the guy on West Brom TV, if you look at on Conor's video, he thinks it's going to be 3-1 Leeds. So, you know, obviously they know more than us, and they're even calling out their defence. Yes, they can score goals, but the defence is shocking. And the stats say that, yeah, they're the highest scorers in the league, but they're one of the worst for conceding goals as well. So, you know, there's going to be goals in this for Leeds, provided we start well, much like we did against Derby. You know, I see us getting 3-4-1. Much like Derby did against them, to be fair. And that Wigan performance has given us all renewed confidence. And if we'd have said, like I said to you before even the Wigan game, I said I see Wigan being the tougher of the two because of Wigan's home form and how well they've done. And people are saying, oh, not that. Listen, they weren't beaten. They haven't been beaten at home since Blackpool in League One. That says a lot about the home form. So people can say, oh, Wigan, it was only Wigan. It's not only Wigan. They're a very good side at home. You know, Paul Cook come out and said some glowing things about us. I know you've seen the video as well where he said, listen, this is the only time we get the ball off you when it's out of play. You know, I thought he's a top coach as well, and I think he'll do well anyway. But that's a little bit off point. But yeah, we are the side. We are the side in the Championship for me. And long may that continue. And let's go into the international break, having won the last two and on a bit of a run. And then we go home to Bristol City, which is going to be a massive crowd. Everyone will be there to get that new yellow away top, that sun strip. That I absolutely love that. So I'm definitely going to be getting that on the 24th when we're back at Ellen Road. And by then I'll have my little son around, Harry. So happy days, man. Things are good, and let's hope they continue good this Saturday when we comfortably beat West Brom. I know you won't like that, Dr. Frost, but I said it. But it's been a pleasure as always, guys. Look out for Oscar's and Conor's pre-match. Give them all a watch and leave your comments in the video because it's back again, Friday Night Football. Conor's going to be dissecting them and going through them. So much like you jump on the Monday Night Football, guys, I've had a lot of positive comments for that, so thank you for that. Let's get on Conor's Friday Night Football as well. But yeah, it's been a pleasure as always. Enjoy the rest of your week, guys. There's only a couple of days left. And then let's all look forward to Saturday evening kick-off for them travelling. Enjoy your travels. Gutted I'm not going. But yeah, guys, thanks very much, and I'll see you post-match Saturday evening, Saturday night, after we've beat West Brom. Marching on together, all Leeds our way. Marcello Bielsa, just everything. Everything's good, man. Leeds, Leeds, Leeds. Peace!